Right, so we thought this through then. So if you want to become King of England, you cut Charles's head off on the top of Arthur's seat. But that, of course, leaves the problem with all the female characters that we have to deal with. So the most pressing character, of course, is the managing director. So you can't really cut her head off on the top of Arthur's seat. You have to sort of roll her to the top or drag her to the top, something similar. And really, who can be bothered these days? So you can drag her up here. So this is the witch's well. So if you're sick of your girlfriend, you want to dump her, this is probably the best place in the country to do it. But we can deal with Joanne Roney when she pops up. Again, this is one of the sites between the Motte and the Bailey that you deal with badly behaving women, and she's extraordinarily badly behaved. So we can resolve matters in that fashion. If you are accepting money from John Cotton to go along with that kind of stuff, you are actually a criminal. I mean, if you've got sort of video footage from America showing this sort of Maoist uprising and you're just getting on with the same thing when being told to stop, you're a crook. Right, so we don't actually behave like that in public bodies, and when you're actually caught and carry on, that makes it even worse. So generally, of course, in legal proceedings, it's not just that you lied, it's that the scale of the lie, how long you were lying, the cost of the lie, and she's got, we're talking, I don't even know, September, October last year, well, obviously bright October, August, September 25, we're now just about into August this year, so she's had more than enough time to actually answer to what she's been doing, but we can't get one. But things will be resolved from Monday because we've got probate being dealt with, so a further badly behaving person in the chain can be spoken to by a third party. But at some point this woman's going to actually turn up. So if the conversation from us currently is, well, our guys are badly organised, incompetent, drunks, horrible people, then I have some sympathy. But if you've got a head of local government being locked out of meetings and you can't really do much, if people on our side are just being told no and door slammed in face, we can't do much, can you? And it's being slammed shut by sort of parasitic women like that. So if you can fit Blackpool, to be fair, I mean, it's pretty incompetent too. If you can't just find this person, I don't know what him and the lads are doing, but I do know what we've been doing because they've been busy. So they've been trying to actually get, this is the adult section, so we're trying to get things sorted out in Manchester given the nature of the statutory inquiry. So you've got the political route, which is being looked at as hard as it can. We're trying to look at the legal route, but of course this is why Birmingham is deliberately cutting off the legal route, but they're now going to be prevented from doing so. So the person we're speaking to is not, he's just going to do conveyancing type stuff, probate I should say. He's not going to be thinking about criminal law, but we've actually got to finally lock you onto the British legal profession after nearly a year, right? So from this ignorant little gremlin thinking that bloodstreams change by magic because somebody's offended, to now I can guarantee you Edinburgh Police have done nothing. I can guarantee you Birmingham Police have done nothing, and the current head of West Midlands Police also immediately capitulated. So again, we're just in the circular process. But of course, the point has been made by Marlon. Think about what it would take: A, the turnout, and B, people actually voting against him, and the result at the end of that, and what that says about the residents of Manchester. So there's your political solution gone. But having been down to Manchester, there are quite clever people there still, so they're pumping air into Burnham, and once the whole thing falls apart, he can be dealt with quite easily. So regardless of what someone like me says or does, that's going to happen. You can't prevent the trajectory of travel that we're all going on. He's still playing about with this sort of breakthrough in Europe. I mean, it can't hold. So it really is on. But what they're not getting is this is such an obvious and easy weak point in the country that anybody who wants to go into the city can do it. So just go and find her, stick a camera in her face and ask her questions. If you can't find her, well, why is she still drawing money from the city of Birmingham? It's a fairly obvious question. And again, finding all the Rose Gallery, so Cotton, Naylor, Varney, find Varney. He'd be good to interview under caution. All these little crooks, get them found. And when you actually get the auditors in with proper security, so no more of this, an auditor's come to me and said, yes, James, I'm going around buildings, I'm not under any kind of threat of violence, then we can have a discussion over the HRA. So, for reference, if you want to claim I'm not HRA security when we've been doing it since 2009, you're delusional. And if you think in terms of HRA security, when we've done a security review, I'm deferring to Jennifer Southall or Deborah Agentieri, whoever that is. Again, you're delusional. So get these women off their arses, get them up to Scotland. If they're not coming, we're not deferring to them. We're just going to bypass them. They're not involved in the adult conversation, which should have been had in a gymnasium a long time ago. But the adult man decided not to bother to fetch a representative, and either the adult men are busy helping other people, which I'm sure they are, or they haven't been told that a referral is required up north to deal with various matters, and they are now too late. So I'm not too sure what the time this gentleman is calling tomorrow, but that's the entryway to the British legal profession that they haven't offered, right? So everyone on the chain shouldn't have been resistant. They should have been proactively offering to legal support. So, oh right, okay, yes, you're quoting case law. Yes, I see the inference. Here's a solicitor's number. Here's a contact. But they're all refusing and have been for a year, right? So thinking, okay, well, I'll get away with it when this goes through. It's all fine. It won't come from me. But you're utterly delusional if you think that's going to happen. So we'll send this off to Birmingham tomorrow, so Debs can pick this kind of stuff up when she gets off her backside and logs onto her work laptop and sees this kind of stuff coming through her computer screen. But if anyone in the country can physically find these women, get as they stick a camera in their face, if you want to contact me, gorwell8484 at protonmail.com. We'll pick up the sightings and get that link to West Midlands Police. But we've got a compliance department which just got taken over by crooks. It's a specialised role. You had people who couldn't do the job, but it was turned into a sort of carved up in sort of various patronage schemes, that kind of stuff. You'd need auditors in with security, because the level of corruption is some of the people we're talking about will just physically attack you in an office effectively. The only reason someone like Southall couldn't do that is because she's a woman. So I'm this gigantic bloke and she couldn't do anything physically. It was the bureaucratic violence prior to 2020, but now that's been dealt with and her mate got her throat cut. The department now can't run because of various corrupt schemes all around the place. But now it's good to come up here and think it through, because we had the bounce back from Cotton, so he's now gone or he's not responding or whatever that was. But his silence didn't save him or won't save him. We were tearing his servers apart the entire year. He's got no comeback. I mean, some of the stuff we were sending in needed a response, and he just hasn't been because he wanted power ultimately. And he was guaranteeing that they would never lose it. So they thought they had an iron grip on the city, regardless of what happened. Their voter share wasn't assured, but because of what happened, and he's gone, there's your window. So criminal proceedings can now take place, and anyone can start them. It literally is a case of physically finding them and pointing them out to police. Even if the current head of Westminster Police is deferring to the activist contingent on a countrywide scale, that even that can't hold. So you think you're down for a few seconds. You think, oh, it's there's no hope. We can't do anything. Then you think a further 2 seconds into the future, and you realise that's not true, and it's the opposite way around. They're done. They're absolutely finished. As soon as evidence chains start being pulled apart, as soon as the statutory inquiry comes through the city, which again was being blocked. So I'm sitting here in Edinburgh for that reason, so that the statutory inquiry say, well, we're going to miss your city. We'll say, okay, well, for obvious reasons, you're idiots. I mean, you can't do that. But sanity will come back eventually. We'll start getting things through the process properly. But yeah, so we're now Sunday. Beginning of August, it's taken nearly a year to try and get the first interface tomorrow. You know, if you're thinking, well, if I was without my income for a month, what would happen? Well, try a year and having to obtain actual physical weapons, dug in with all kinds of equipment now to create effectively a bunker in this place, all off own resources because we haven't got access to probate mainly. If you can't sort of vanish for a year from that kind of city and be totally independent and be able to carry on. By the way, we don't actually need these people to help out. It's just getting any kind of because the other weird one is Birmingham Shelter. So you would have thought, because they do judicial reviews, when I was sort of speaking to some of their guys back last year, you would have thought they would have had some back and forth to try and get things out in terms of doing independent case reviews from Scotland, because if we're still passing through that kind of rubbish, we can't do that. If I'm paying money and I'm under threat of serious violence, credible violence, and the landlord is trying to remove me via the courts, then clearly that's not reasonable, is it? I mean, I would show up to the court service and quite easily contest that because it's not reasonable if I'm paying the bill and responding to this kind of stuff. But because of the case quality, we couldn't pass it through legally. But back in 2009, you could sort the department out, so you could say, well, this isn't working, X, Y, Z, we need to tune it up, and people would comply. But post-pandemic, nobody complies. You tell people explicitly, this needs to be done, they just ignore it. So it's okay, well, we'll shut the department down. Okay, well, we'll ignore it. Okay, well, your department's been shut down. Why are people still carrying on if that's the case? Your case managers can't do case management. So what are they doing in the department? Do I have to supervise them? Well, we are supervising them, but do we have to explain to them the EQA inferences in regards to the medical questions, all that kind of stuff? But we're getting off topic anyway. So anyway, to finish the thought off and finish the recording, if you want to either dump your missus or cut her head off or set her on fire, whatever you want to do to her, this is again the best place in the country to dispose of problem women.